How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Joe Biden's very successful campaign tour. He had an interesting moment where he was talking about American culture and how it is derived from European culture and not some African nation or some Asian nation. Now, there was a clip online that featured this. People got really upset at it, and then people got upset because they said the clip was quote unquote deceptively edited by the GOP to make Joe Biden look bad. So what I'm going to do is play an extended version of the clip. In this clip, you'll see what he said that got everybody triggered to begin with. Then you'll see what he said before it, which will let you know why he said it, and it'll give you some context to the whole situation. After we get done with that, I'll give you my 2 cents, my analysis, and then I wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I called in almost 150 presidents of universities. And I'm a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. They named the School of Public Policy at Delaware after me, the Joseph R. Biden School, et cetera. I've been very involved with colleges. The more prestigious the college, the less they wanted to do. Because all they had, they're supposed to have to report how many incidents occur on their campuses. They're supposed to take a survey. All they have to do is take a blind survey at the beginning of school. How many of you students have in fact been accosted or having something happen? Blind. They get an idea how bad the problem may or may not be on campus. They don't want to do it. You know why? If you're going to Penn or Harvard or Yale or Brown or whatever, and you have to publish how many times someone's been abused, it's like, whoa, I'm not sending my kid there. I'm serious. Think of the fight back. But we finally got a lot passed through with the Secretary of Education, who was a great guy that I work with, and others, under Title IX. And then along came Betsy DeVos. No, I'm serious. And ended it. Ended it. Folks, this is about changing the culture. Our culture. Our culture. It's not imported from some African nation or some Asian nation. It's our English jurisprudential culture. Our European culture. It says it's all right. I'll end with this. Remember the Academy Award song that didn't win but almost won, called Till It Happens to You? Well, I was asked to introduce the woman who sang that song, and there were 50 kids who walked out on stage who had been abused. She talked about abuse until it happens to you. And I stood and I talked about, when I introduced her at the Academy Awards, about what we had to change the culture. It was about a 5-minute speech. Over 200 million people watch that worldwide.
Okay, so you heard that, you saw that, you see what's going on. Now, there is a whole lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. But I guess I should start at what could be the elephant in the room, and that is if I agree with what he was saying as it relates to European culture and American culture. Now, I think what he said about American jurisprudence coming from European culture is correct. I mean, the laws we have on the books, the courts and all of that, they come from Europe, not from anywhere else. So he was right to say that. Now, as far as anything else like American culture in general, the genesis of it is European culture, but obviously in America, we have our own unique culture that comes from other cultures coming in and kind of blending up. You know, the whole melting pot thing is real when it comes to general American culture. Now, are there enclaves of people that have their culture from their nation of origin intact? Yes, of course, all over the country you have that. But your regular, average, everyday normie that lives in the cities, they have an American culture that is pretty much distinct to America. Other countries around the world emulate Americans. They don't necessarily emulate Europeans. I mean, they do, but Americans have our own unique culture. So I had to put that out there. But what he was saying about jurisprudence and the law system and whatnot, that does come from Europe. That's just a fact. However, if he were a conservative on stage, like let's say he were a Donald Trump, a Ted Cruz, maybe even a Ben Carson, and he said something like that, oh, you're a white supremacist, white nationalist, KKK, you're a neo-Nazi, you want a white ethno-state, all this, that, and the third, for simply saying a true thing, okay? It's interesting to see people on Twitter bend over backwards to try and defend this man, Joe Biden. First, they were saying, oh, the clip, it was edited by the GOP deceptively. They didn't give you the full context. And then when you saw the full context, it's like, okay, what he said didn't change. All that we know now is that there's a reason why he said what he said. And that reason was he was talking about colleges with cases of sexual assault and why it's not published, and how we got to change the culture that comes from Europe in order to get that whole process fixed. Now, he didn't say we need to go to Africa and copy what they do to put into our culture. He did not say we need to go to Asia and copy what they do to put into our culture. He said that the culture comes from Europe. It comes from English jurisprudence, not some African nation or some Asian nation, basically dismissing those as irrelevant to American culture. Like I said, if it were anybody else on the right, instantly racist, white supremacist. It could have been me on TV saying that. I would get called a white supremacist. It's kind of a hard thing to say, but they would say it. That's pretty much where we're at right now with the mainstream media and the general public. So, you know, regular, average, everyday people that may kind of subscribe to the left in their ideology, they're kind of confused. On one end, they want to defend their man, the leading candidate or the leading hopeful to become the candidate on the left, Joe Biden. They want to defend him, but at the same time, they got to hear what he said and look at it from a real point of view, or from an honest point of view as far as what they think. If this were anybody else, they would instantly say racist. But since it's Joe Biden, they got to pause and really be dishonest with themselves and be like, oh, that's not racist. Although being dishonest with themselves is true in this case, it would not be true to them. So they kind of caught in this whole quagmire. It's like, do I become dishonest and kind of go down this red pill journey and then become honest as a result of being dishonest with myself? Or am I honest and deceiving my own people, which kind of leaves me in the lurch? It's a weird situation for them to be in. But at the end of the day, what Joe Biden said was what a lot of people say and get called racist for. All right. But to get to what he was saying about, rapes on college campuses and stuff like that, I mean, does it happen? Yes, but is really that big of a deal? No. And I don't think that that's something that you have to publish. It's like, would a city publish that about themselves? Like when you go to California, like, is there a packet you get when you move into the state that says, hey, we have a lot of HIV, a lot of homelessness, the plague might come back. There's hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, F, G through Z here. But enjoy your stay. Is that what's gonna happen? I'm not really sure that happens anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, or whatever. That's not really a thing that happens. So this whole thing about changing the culture, I don't really understand, and I'm not really sure where he was going with that. Like I said, this campaign tour is off to a fantastic start. It's going great. The machine is moving 1,000 miles an hour. It looks like it's going to have a fast track to victory. Sarcasm here if you don't quite catch that. He's going to lose. It's going to be fantastic once he gets on the stage with Donald Trump. It's not even going to be fair. There are so many things that Joe Biden says every single day that can be used against him. Trump and the whole campaign team can pretty much just sit back with their hands in their pocket as far as it comes to any kind of negative campaign ads. Joe Biden is doing all the negative campaign ads against himself every single day. The things that the left would cry as being racist if the other side said it or did it, he says and does every single day. And at a certain point, people are going to get tired of trying to defend this man. And they're going to say, hey, I think you said about English jurisprudence and American culture not coming from some African nation or an Asian nation. I'm offended. I take offense, and I'm not going to vote for you, which is going to be damaging to them on the left because he is their best candidate, or he has the best chance of winning right now. Unless you just parachute Michelle Obama and Oprah from the sky at the 0 hour, they have absolutely zero chance. Even with Michelle Obama and Oprah, it'll still be pretty much zero chance. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that what Joe Biden said is racist? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was it not racist, but if another person said it, it would have been racist, at least in the eyes of the media and those on the left? That's pretty much where I'm at. And if you agree with that, let me know why in the comments below. What do you think Joe Biden will say next? What's going to be his next quote unquote gaffe? And at this particular point, you can't call it gaffes. This is just who Joe Biden is. These are not mistakes. These are not accidents. This is just what he does. Okay. If a person says a word the same exact way every day for 20 plus years, that's just how they say it. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. The same thing with the creepy touching, sniffing girls' hair. That's not a mistake. That's not an accident. That's just what he does at this particular point in time. You have to expect that from him when he goes out there on the campaign trail. I heard that Barack Obama told him, please, man, don't run. Don't do it. We don't want to see you out there embarrassing yourself. But unfortunately for Barack Obama and the left, he's doing it. It bodes well for us that are on the right because he's not going to be successful in his bid to become the president. And that just makes it easier for us to win. It's a clearer path to victory. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.